Digital story, my perspective and summary based on transformative learning. Throughout this digital story, I will be reflecting on learnings through a transformational learning theory lens. The list below will be the main topics I will be discussing. Number 1, discussion of community practices. Number 2, adult learning leadership orientation. Number 3, equity and anti-oppression. Number 4, designing and implementing a workshop. Number 5, community engagement. Community practices. In our course, we are introduced to the topic of community practices. What I have learned about community practice is as follows. According to Etienne Wenger's 1998 Social Theory of Learning and the concept of community practice, a community of practice is a group of people who share a concern or a passion for something they do and learn how to do it better as they interact regularly. There are 4 key components to recognize participation as a method of gaining knowledge: meaning, practice, community, and identity. With these components, we are open to gain knowledge. Individuals are perceived as learners and teachers. The community of practice is seen as a source of information through personal experiences and best practices. Also, participants increase their social equity. In our class, we were introduced to the adult learning principles. According to Knowles' 1984, the reason why the adult learning principles is essential for us to learn about is because our workshop is geared towards transforming adult learning in itself. Planning and implementing workshops for adults is more intimate, and that individual specifically wants to be there because they are interested, not because they have to or are forced to. Adult learning principles. Adults bring their own challenges, knowledge, and background when they attempt to further their learning. Adults have their own reasoning as to why they would like to gain insights on a topic. Adults have the ability to set goals that they would like to reach. Adults are hands-on individuals when dealing with obstacles. Dealing with issues hands-on is a better problem-solving approach for them as well. Adults have their own power to perform goal determination. Adults choose to be in an environment to gain knowledge. This displays appreciation. And finally, adults that choose to further their knowledge enjoy being treated equally. Leadership orientation. Being in a leadership orientation position requires an individual to fulfill the following expectations. 1. Leading the plan of an establishment. 2. Leading the individuals with assertiveness that are part of the establishment. Number 3. Leading the tasks that need to be completed with the organization. And skills of concentration. And finally, leading myself to stay on task and remain in focus. Equity and anti-oppression. Throughout this course, it was discussed the importance of a workshop to include and support both equity and anti-oppression. A workshop should support equity and anti-oppression through understanding power and privilege and social structures, also by encouraging participants to advocate and work for empowerment, justice, and equity. Techniques that can be used as well consist of challenging yourself, be a role model, modify the learning environment, encourage participation and engagement, provide alternative views and opinions, develop critical thinking styles and skills, encourage activism, use instructional and engaging materials to encourage participants to reflect in their learning, repetition after learners reflect on their skill of learning, and finally, collaborative learning. Designing and implementing a workshop. Designing and implementing a workshop was the biggest component to this course. There are various pieces that go hand in hand to create an engaging and knowledge-filled workshop. When implementing and designing a workshop, it is crucial to prepare for the workshop, prepare the participants, gather information that is appropriate for the topic and participants, provide an inclusive environment, deliver the workshop in a smooth transition with materials, technology, and surveys. To end this infographic digital story, I would like to talk about community engagement. Thus, having the opportunity to be a part of the Transformative Learning and Communities course opened my eyes to a much bigger picture of how many issues still are present, as well as the history that lies behind it. I have created a plan for how I would continue engagement with community through the time of 1 year period. The following plan consists of following up with the workshop my group and I have created, having our creative icebreaker theories and interactive activities, as well as have an effect on their audience, especially because we found a way to have our workshop become accessible through the online world. With saying that, I do believe that many individuals can benefit from reading/listening to the various stories we had to offer brilliant independent women whose stories are not always recognized. To continue to implement what has been created and sharing with the others is community engagement in itself. Thank you.